Are we heading for a doomsday? Today, I'll give you a Chinese astrology perspective on this, and I also want to share some messages I've been receiving from my spirit guides about our collective future. So stay with me. Gratitude. I'm Karin from ChoosingGratitude.net, and on this channel I share everything related to manifesting and creating your dream life. If you're new here, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell, and let's start manifesting our dream lives by choosing gratitude. I think we can all agree that we live in an unprecedented time in history. I think since 2020, the global pandemic broke out, and a lot of people are suddenly starting to realize that the time we have today is different from the past several decades that we've taken for granted. Yes, we live in a very, very special time in history. Lately, some of my clients are worried about their debt and their jobs and their financial future. And a lot of clients who have money are also worried about hyperinflation and security for their future. It looks like everybody is in some sort of a panic mode, right? And of course, what makes it worse is that you're seeing a lot of narratives online about how we're heading for a doomsday, or the inflation is gonna crash the economy. And we also are seeing a lot of very interesting astrological events, like last year we just had a great conjunction of 4 or 5 planets all together, and this year, as I'm speaking, we're heading into a blood moon total lunar eclipse, which is also pretty rare, something that doesn't happen all the time. These things are making a lot of people feel a sense of anxiety. That collective anxiety is manifesting into this doomsday mentality, right? So today I want to tell you what I think. Are you ready? Short answer is no, we're not doomed. Let me tell you why I think so. First of all, my spirit guides are always telling me that time and space don't just progress in a straight line. We don't evolve like, from A to B and we go straight up there. And secondly, I want you to understand that there are multiple possible possibilities coexist all the time. And this is scientifically proven, right? If you read about quantum physics, you know that at any given time, there are a million possible possibilities. And anytime when you make a decision, when you move forward, or as our society collectively move forward, there are multiple possible outcomes, okay? And I'm not talking about 5 outcomes, 10 outcomes. I'm talking about millions of billions of outcomes, countless possible outcomes. Is a doomsday one of the possible outcomes? I think yes, but that is just one or a few of the many, many, many outcomes. That is what I've been told by my spirit guides. A few weeks ago, I received a very interesting message from one of my viewers. So this viewer sent me a link to a video about a TikTok influencer who lives in Spain, and he posts everything in Spanish, but there are translations. So according to this TikTok influencer, he lives in 2027, and that world he's living in, he's the only surviving human, and he's showing you empty streets, empty stores, everything empty. And a lot of people watch this kind of content and they get really, really scared. And my viewer asked me what I think about it. First of all, I'm not in any position to judge whether or not this is for real. I can say that whether this person is really stuck in one of the parallel realities, like what I just explained, maybe he is in that reality, or he's just showing off some video editing hacks. In Chinese astrology, we have something called 9 flying star system, or you can also call it 9 purple-white flying star system. This is basically a system that helps you understand the flow of time, and also it helps you understand this spiral journey that we take. According to this 9 flying star system, we never grow in a straight upward line. Instead, we grow like this, right? Just like the stock market, just like any companies, any business out there, just like anything that grows in our world. You never see a straight line. You always see ups and downs and ups and downs. If you use the 9 flying star system, you can roughly understand the up and down of human history. The fundamental building block of this system is the idea of 3 yuan and 9 periods. And yuan is a Chinese word, and it basically means a block of time, a period of time. So each yuan contains 3 smaller periods. And when we put 3 yuans together, you get a whole historical wave. Okay, so we have the upper yuan, the middle yuan, and the lower yuan. And each yuan has 3 periods, so we would have period 1, 2, 3 in the upper yuan, and we have the 4, 5, and 6 in the middle yuan, and the 7, 8, and 9 in the lower yuan. Okay, so this is really just like a wave, right? So when the wave first comes up, it's the upper yuan, and when the wave gets to the top, it's the middle yuan, and then it goes down as the lower yuan. That's just the wave of the history. If you want to get a little more technical with this, all the beginnings of the period starts with a yang wood year. Okay, so the yang wood year is always a 4 year. What does that mean? 2014, 2024, 2034, or you can go back, 1844, 1854, 1864. So all the 4 years are yang wood years, okay? And according to Chinese astrology, yang wood always signifies some sort of a beginning of a cycle. So in a sense, every 10 years, we return to a yang wood year, which is literally the beginning of a small collective historical cycle. And when you put 2 cycles together, the yin and the yang, you get a period according to the purple-white flying star system. So these are not just some random 20 years. You're always starting the period from a yang wood year, and the period always ends before a yang wood year. Where we are now, right now as I'm speaking, we're in 2021. We are at the end of period 8, meaning we are at the end of this historical wave, okay? So we are also at the end of the lower yuan. We are literally at the end of an era. Think about it. So in 2024, we're heading into another period, which is the period 9. In Chinese astrology, each period is ruled by a different element, a different star. According to this system, there are 9 stars that are ruling everything in our physical reality, and every 20 years they change shift, okay? So we are at the end of the period 8, meaning our current star is about to retire. The current star is the star number 8, and the element that's associated with this star is Earth. So the past 20 years, everything that we've been experiencing are related to Earth. Earth meaning real estate, government, big corporations. You are seeing a lot of transformation in that area. But soon we're going into 2024, period number 9, and the next period is no longer ruled by Earth, but fire. Fire rules the internet, technology, and things that are explosive, things that are passionate, things that are a little bit more interesting and not as still, okay? So collectively, our society is going to shift into a new era. This also coincides with the age of Aquarius, right? In 2024, in Western astrology, we're talking about Pluto enter into the next sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is also this sign of innovation, technology. So you see, these systems are just using different words to describe the same kind of energy. So in this sense, our future is not fixed, but the flavor of the future is sort of pre-written, okay? So this is a lot like, let's say you are writing a novel, right? So you have to have a setting for your story. So you know that your story happens at this time and you're gonna have a few characters. These things are set. However, how the story develops and how the story gonna end, that's entirely up to you, the writer, right? So it's exactly the same with our human history. So when people tell you we're heading for a doomsday, you can tell them that that is one of the possible possibilities. However, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do you really want to choose to head into a doomsday? Are you afraid of a doomsday? If that is the future you choose, well, you're free to go there. However, if you don't choose that kind of future, why don't you make a different decision? Why don't you choose again? Because the universe gives us choices. We have multiple parallel realities for us to choose from. And my guides are also telling me that there are many very interesting things waiting for us in the next period, period 9, because we're no longer earthbound. Instead, we can aim for more interesting things and we'll be surprised by the development of technology, and if we choose well, we will see a more prosperous future. However, for people who are not aware of the shift, they might be stuck in a timeline where we are heading to a collective doomsday. So make sure that you choose well. And most importantly, according to Chinese astrology, these waves come up and down, and they never end. Chinese astrology doesn't really talk about the end of a time because we believe that the end of a time is always a new beginning. When one chapter ends, another chapter starts. So in a way, I do believe that we're heading to some sort of a closure. However, I don't believe that that's the end of all of us, depending on our choices. I believe that we are just heading into a more exciting future. We may have to learn to adapt to new things, new environment, new economy, a new way of relating to each other, a new way of working with each other. However, once we make that shift, our future is bright. If you want to learn more about your own life and your own future, feel free to reach out to me and book a one-on-one session with me. Link in the description down below. You can also download my free Chinese astrology training kit at the link down below. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video.